what's going on? Born for Sports. The New York Knicks tonight, they take a loss to the Atlanta Hawks at Madison Square Garden in the NBA Cup quarterfinals. Well, the Knicks, you know, they had some issues with the Hawks today with their length. I thought the rebounding was a problem, especially on the offensive glass. But I think just basically tonight they just didn't have it in the second half. The first half was solid. The first half was solid. They played well. They were up, but they were up. Kind of dominated most of the first half, I thought. But you kind of got the sense like they should have been up by more. They should have had gotten up by more points at the half. And, you know, third quarter came was just basically the third quarter of doom. It was real bad. The Knicks, they got outscored 34-18 in the third quarter. The Hawks came out with more energy, you know, and I thought they had a real solid game plan. We'll get to on Brunson in a minute, but the third quarter really sunk the Knicks tonight, and they caught fire. The Atlanta Hawks, they caught fire or whatever, but I think the main thing was they killed the Knicks on the glass tonight. 21 offensive rebounds is just way too much. And from what we've seen so far this year, without the rim protection consistency and with the injured bigs, Precious is doing all he can, but he's not really a five. But in certain teams, he can play the five, obviously, when we go small. But against teams like the Atlanta Hawks and other young teams like the Houston Rockets, for example, early in the year, you're going to need some skillful, athletic, defensive wings and bigs to compete in those games, especially if you're not going to shoot with a high percentage, because it's just going to be a problem for the Knicks without Mitchell Robinson. It's just going to be a problem. And basically, they got killed tonight on the glass, man, with the offensive. They got out rebounded by they were minus 10 on the rebound overall, but 21 offensive rebounds is just way too much. It was a physical game. I thought the referee crew didn't do a great job officiating this game tonight. I felt like it was a lot of. I mean, I don't mind the physical play, of course, but you got to call it on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And they got Towns in foul trouble, I thought, way too early with little ticky-tack things, in my opinion, compared to what the Hawks were doing, who, you give the Hawks credit. They play really good defensively. They competed, hustled. They out-hustled the Knicks a lot of the second half. But I just thought that, there was a lot of contact fouls that weren't called on that end. And I just felt like when the Knicks were playing defense, they just didn't get the benefit of the doubt on those same calls the Hawks were getting away with. So I just didn't like the way that went. But the Knicks got to do a better job with when they play teams like that in a physical game. And I think once we get Mitchell Robinson back, that could help. Also, basically, like I said, the offensive rebounds were the biggest key, but I also thought shooting 11 for 42 from three, that was the difference in the game as well. That was the difference in the game. I mean, you can't miss 31 three-point attempts and expect to win money games that way, especially if you're not winning the offensive rebounding advantage. And that's basically what happened tonight. Also, give the Hawks credit. They had a good defensive game plan against Brunson tonight. Only shot 5 for 15. And Brunson had 8 dimes tonight, but basically just didn't have it tonight. He just didn't shoot well tonight. And I thought they did a good job of getting the ball out of his hand, being physical with him, because they basically played to what the referees allowed them to play, which was physical. And when they were allowed to be physical on Towns and especially on Brunson, it worked in their favor. Speaking of Towns, he had 19 points, 19 rebounds tonight, but foul trouble like 6 assists, but foul trouble for most of the second half. Just couldn't get into a rhythm in the second half, and that ultimately was a part of the reason why we didn't score enough tonight. So the Knicks fall tonight. Their next game will be at Orlando on Sunday, since they are not going to Vegas for the quarterfinals. For the semifinals of the NBA Cup, they will now have some games off. Hopefully, get healthy. You saw Deuce earlier. He kind of got nicked up on a physical play, another non-foul call, but whatever. He got his knee got twisted up, but tonight. So, hopefully these days off, and also with Towns, nursing that little knee issue he's been dealing with. Hopefully these days off until Sunday can help heal the team up and get them ready to go. All in all, Knicks drop tonight and out of the NBA Cup tournament, and that's that. So a lot to work on. Gotta have to be a little better against these physical teams, especially with these athletic wings, man. They've been having some issues this year with a couple of those teams, and stuff to work on.